Hey Heather. So you want to talk about experiments. I love this because for me, this is a way to beat perfectionism, is to see new things, changes as experiments rather than having this like new thing I'm going to introduce and then there's all this pressure for it to work and what if it doesn't and I made a change and it was dumb and it's just kind of like a lot of negativity around that too. I think like, hey, I'm gonna try this and maybe it'll work and maybe it won't. And especially with an experiment, there's a lot of kind of built-in grace, like, oh well, it was just an experiment, so it was a dumb idea, whatever. So experiments. So I wanted to talk about I always have experiments going. There are always like a million, maybe a dozen different things I'm doing that I'm trying, like experiments in minimalism or experiments in kind of like health kinds of things or, save the planet, sustainability stuff. But one experiment is obviously doing this video with you. And so I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So for me, this experiment is one of putting imperfect things out into the world because I get really stressed about that, about the idea that once you put something out into the world on the internet, it's there forever, basically. So even if I decide to take it down, it could, it's somewhere, right? So this stupid video that I'm making could come back and haunt me someday, somewhere, and it would be like, oh my gosh, why is this lady standing in her bathroom not wearing makeup with random like day 3 hair, like and a temporary tattoo? No, it's not a real tattoo, it's a temporary tattoo from my preschooler. But yeah, so that's another thing, is like when being a sort of visual person, when I watch videos, I can get kind of distracted about like, why is that lady in her bathroom? And like, what, like I always like shooting up, which is like the worst angle. Like why, like you mentioned from last week or whatever, like why is that lady in her car? Like what is going on? So those are things I'm kind of like, I'm just gonna shoot videos randomly in random places and just be fine with it. And that for me is an exercise in just personal growth and also an experiment. So some of these like really random, it's like I know this looks dumb, but for me it's like an experiment. I'm not thinking too hard about it, not needing to be perfect, and just putting things out there anyway. And this like every other Friday thing is really good for me. Like do something on a schedule. So anyway, all those things are experiments in trying to help me be better and to grow. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. So what? It's just an experiment. See you next time.